Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and today I'll break down the history of Goh's Inteleon, detailing his journey from weak little Sobble into a super spy. This video is sponsored by Vessi. If you've been around the channel, you already know. I love these shoes. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've worn at least a pair a day for the past 2 years. They're hands down the best shoes I've ever owned. At this point, I think I have over a dozen pairs. That's probably because Vessi has something for every occasion. Beyond their classic design, Vessis are waterproof, breathable, ridiculously comfortable, and insanely easy to clean. For Vessi shoes, rain, spills, and puddles are no problem. Whether you're running errands, filming ads, or hatching Pokemon in Pokemon Go, you never have to worry about the weather when you slip these on in the morning. They're also perfect for travel. My dad wore his Vessis all through Europe and swears they were the best shoes he packed. Lately, I've been obsessed with the weekend sneaker. It's easily the most versatile pair I own. I can throw them on with pretty much anything, from casual to more dressed up looks. And if you're worried about ordering online, you have nothing to fear. Vessi makes it easy to swap sizes, and every purchase comes with a 30-day exchange window. So if you want shoes that can handle real life and still look good, go to vessi.com/silver for 15% off. Like always, the link is at the top of the description. Once you get a pair, you'll understand why I wear mine every single day. And now on to Inteleon's history. When Sobble first debuted, he was the picture of fear. Alone in the wild, he hid away and burst into tears whenever anyone noticed him. Like Larvitar, his timid nature was born from trauma. A run-in with Electrike taught him that survival meant staying unseen. Fortunately, vanishing was second nature for him. All water, even his own sweat and tears, made him disappear. In toughing it out, Sobble trailed Ash and Goh from afar, too shy to approach. By sobbing Sobble, however, hunger drove him to steal their breakfast. Caught mid-snack, he panicked, cried, and blinded them with his contagious tears. Sobble nearly got away, but fate and the frustrated throwing of Goh's Pokeball sealed his capture. He barely had time to settle before being thrust into battle. Thrown into battle against Silicobra, Sobble froze. Goh expected his water typing to carry the fight, but Sobble was terrified. He turned invisible, fired a few shaky attacks, and then crumbled the headbutt. His crying eventually drove Silicobra off, but the ordeal led him to fall into Team Rocket's trap. Overall, the day was crushing. Sobble felt abandoned, used, and hopeless. It was only after Goh fought to rescue him that the two forged their bond. After Sobble helped defeat Team Rocket, Goh promised he would never again push him beyond his limits. He would always consider Sobble's needs first. At Cerise's lab, Sobble struggled to fit in. His shyness kept him apart, and his onion-like tears made friendship difficult. Over time, though, Dragonite and Raboot drew him out of his shell. Though Darmanitan's teasing tested Sobble's patience, the lab became a place for growth. Outside the lab, Sobble was Goh's secondary ace. He slept in Goh's bed, traveled outside his Pokeball, and appeared often. Still, Sobble's nerves often betrayed him. Team Rocket's traps, Bee's glare, a Minccino's slap, Aerodactyl's shadow, and Marshtomp's being stuck could all send him crying into an invisible state. Luckily, whenever he broke down, Goh, Raboot, and later Cinderace were there to support him. At the end of the day, every adventure brought Sobble more confidence. That said, his first true breakthrough came in making battles in the sand. Facing Flygon, he fired Water Gun straight into Sandstorm, and even landed a hit. Dragon Rush flattened him, but compared to his Silicobra disaster, it was major progress. Sobble's progress exploded even further in Sobble Spies the Stealthy strategy. On the set of Spy and Sidekick, he was mesmerized by the film's Inteleon star. It was everything he wished he could be: cool, calm, and powerful. When Team Rocket struck, Sobble stalled, while Inteleon saved him. Despite their differences, Inteleon embraced Sobble as his #1 fan. Once back at the lab, Sobble vowed to get strong and evolve like his hero. His training faltered when Darmanitan teased him and Pikachu embarrassed him in battle, so Goh built a strategy around his strength of evasion. He turned hide-and-seek into training, helping Sobble slip past opponents while remaining unseen. Sobble quickly put his skills to the test after Team Rocket stole a Gothita and trapped his friends. Earning Inteleon's respect, he vanished, unleashed Water Gun and U-turn, freed his friends, and blasted off the villains. For the first time, Sobble stood tall. When he returned to the lab, he carried himself with newfound swagger. No longer a crybaby, he was finally on the up and up. Determined to evolve, Sobble threw himself into training. In Not Too Close for Comfort, he saved Goh's Oddish and evolved into Drizzile. At first elated, he quickly soured after realizing he hadn't reached Inteleon yet. That disappointment absolutely crushed him. No matter what Goh's other Pokemon did, nothing could cheer him up. After he lashed out and accidentally hit Chinchou, things only got worse. Magikarp sent him flying, Mankey and Bunnelby annoyed him, and Ekans, Nidoran, and Pinsir drove him from their homes. Too despondent to defend himself, Drizzile withdrew into a cave. When Goh and Cinderace tried to bring him back, Drizzile rebuked them, burst into tears, and fled. In that moment, Goh realized his partner needed space. Though it hurt to let go, he promised to leave him alone for as long as he needed. Before vanishing, Drizzile wiped away Goh's tears, signifying their bond endured. For the next 16 episodes, Drizzile was mostly absent from Journeys. His role as Goh's second major companion was filled by Grookey. Drizzile's first step back came in Take My Thief Please. When Goh's Raichu offered him food, he shared it with James's Morpeko. It was a simple act of kindness, one which marked his slow return to the world. Finally, in Detective Drizzile, Drizzile revealed he had started training at night. While everyone else slept, he perfected his aim and chased his dream of becoming Inteleon. It was when a camouflaged Kecleon and her trainer Gizmo stole data from Cerise's lab that Drizzile finally reunited with Goh. Like a true hero, he exposed Kecleon and battled her atop the lab's rooftop. Although Drizzile was initially overwhelmed, Goh promised to protect him no matter the cost. The kindness Goh afforded Drizzile brought back memories of all their adventures together and inspired him to evolve. Through evolution, he became stronger, calmer, and infinitely more confident. After a lifetime of anxiety, he was finally comfortable in his own skin. Using his new abilities, Inteleon intercepted Kecleon's Iron Tail, struck back with newly learned Snipe Shot, and revealed his mastery of flight to save her from falling. His chivalry so impressed Kecleon that she fell in love with him. After Gizmo revealed that he had only infiltrated the lab out of awe for Cerise, Inteleon reconciled with Goh and rejoined his team as the prodigal ace. From then on, Inteleon was a major pillar of Goh's team. His powers of invisibility, flight, precision shooting, vibration sensing, and infrared vision made him vital in the Project Mew trials. During the first, in Trial on a Golden Scale, he helped Goh catch Roggenrola, survive a runaway railcar, and extinguish a fire. In the second trial, in Looking Out for Number 2, Inteleon teamed up with Mantike to help catch Kingdra. He pressured Kingdra with Snipe Shot, withstood Dragon Breath, exploited Mantike's Ice Beam, and landed Liquidation. The third trial, during battling in the Freezing Raid, involved Inteleon leading Goh to Articuno's cave. With all that in mind, Goh's fourth trial was Inteleon's finest hour. As Goh's sole battler in narrowing the Chaser Chase, he toppled opponents in a battle royale. Opening strong, Inteleon defeated Granbull with Mudshot and Barbaracle with Snipe Shot. When rival trainers started to gang up, Goh and Inteleon joined forces with their friends Horus and Gardevoir. Together, they defeated Sableye and Shiftry and fought Liepard and Vikavolt. After Gardevoir was blinded by Liepard's Sucker Punch and paralyzed by Vikavolt's Discharge, Inteleon waged a guerrilla war against their opponents. Though he was drawn from the sea by Discharge, slashed by Night Slash, pinned by String Shot, and hammered by Dark Pulse, Gardevoir eventually broke free from her paralysis and bought him time to recover. In a flash, Inteleon dropped Liepard with Snipe Shot and Vikavolt with Liquidation. Regrettably, the triumph was bittersweet. With their enemies all defeated, Inteleon and Gardevoir were forced to battle one another. Exhausted but determined, both Pokemon faced off. The duel came down to a single exchange. Inteleon struck with everything he had, but Gardevoir saw through his invisibility and won the showdown with Moonblast. Beyond Project Mew, Inteleon also assisted in Goh's other adventures. In the Gates of Warp, for instance, he popped Team Rocket's hot air balloon, only to be captured by their doppelgangers from a parallel dimension. Although the experience led him to devolve all the way into an egg in Showdown at the Gates of Warp, he returned to his fully evolved self by episode's end. What stood out wasn't just the strange de-evolution, but the fact that he showed no sadness over it. This proved that he had learned to accept himself no matter his form. Inteleon's unique powers came in handy during the Arceus Chronicles, where he used Snipe Shot to slow Heatran's rampage and pierce its core. Piplup, in particular, thought his efforts incredible. Inteleon further proved his worth by defeating Team Rocket's Dubwool and Morgrem in just a stone's throw from here, and by fighting in a raid battle against Lugia and this could be the start of something big. At the end of Journeys, Goh chose to travel without Ash, taking only Inteleon, Cinderace, and Grookey as he ventured around Kanto. During these travels, he crossed paths with Misty. As expected, she fell in love with Inteleon. Inteleon's last scene of the series was her hugging him. As that concludes Inteleon's history, let's get to his battle record. Inteleon defeated Meowth, Jessie's Wobbufett, Gizmo's Kecleon, Goh's Roggenrola, Goh's Kingdra, Granbull, Barbaracle, Sableye, Shiftry, Lila's Liepard, Sterling's Vikavolt, Team Rocket's Dubwool, and Team Rocket's Morgrem. His only official loss was to Horus's Gardevoir. Move-wise, Inteleon used Liquidation, Mud Shot, Pound, Snipe Shot, Water Gun, and U-Turn. I'll admit, I've never been a fan of Inteleon's design. It's lanky, a little awkward, and not as cool as Greninja. That said, I still appreciated his story arc and journeys. Watching him grow from an anxious Sobble into a withdrawn Drizzile to a confident Super Spy made his friendship with Goh feel truly real. Sobble's early episodes hit especially hard because they gave us a window into the harsh realities of the Pokemon world. It's not often that we get a character who's afraid of their own shadow. What I liked most about Inteleon was that he almost felt like a ghost type, not because of his typing, but because of his natural gifts. Even without his moveset, powers like invisibility and flight made him into an invaluable asset. I just wish that the show leaned more into these unique powers, beyond that which they showed with invisibility. Like the rest of Goh's Pokemon, Inteleon suffered from too few extended battles, and a lack of major narrative focus after he achieved his final form. Where things really stumbled with Inteleon was his portrayal as Drizzile. Like Charmeleon and Piloswine before him, he barely got any screen time in his middle form. Most of his growth happened off-screen, and that undercut what should have been a pivotal chapter in his story arc. The pacing robbed Drizzile of his deserved spotlight. So, overall, I'd call Inteleon's story ambitious, but a bit uneven. At its best, it was emotional and bold. At its worst, it was undercut by the neglect of Drizzile. Still, when you look at the full picture, Inteleon really was pretty cool. On that, class is adjourned. I want to give a big thanks again to Vessi. Get a pair of your own at 15% off by clicking the first link in the description. I'm Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.